Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dennis Buckley with the Doctor Driven Referral System and the ultimate massage marketing and management program. And this is our interview series that we do, and we bring the best of the business world and massage world to you, the massage therapist, so that you can be a better massage therapist and be more successful. Today, I'm very honored to have as our guest Miss Lori Koop. Is it Lori Koop Coaching?
Lori Koop, business coach. Kind of how I say
Lori
it.
Koop, the business coach, and she has
Yes.
a really cool program, and it's called the Right Brain Business Plan. Right?
Yep. I facilitate that for
Just
sure
let's.
for
It's
creatives.
no. Why not a left brain business plan? Let's get right into this.
Well, left brain is what you see already out there. It has to do with the numbers and the crunching, and it's probably the number one reason why right brainers, creative types, holistic types are not really preparing themselves with a business plan because it's one, too boring, and maybe even feels too overwhelming. So the right brain is an approach that's much more aligned with their true self and more visually inclined, more creatively and visually based. So
Well, so you're working with entrepreneurs who are different anyway.
yes,
So,
we
so,
are.
so you really like working with these special groups, right? These entrepreneurs, these people that are more creative, more artistic, more holistic. I mean, you
Yes.
really like working with those people. Why?
Well, I think honestly that they've come with a mission in mind, and I think that I feel really empowered and really motivated to help them bring that gift or that vision or that mission to the world. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's one of those helpful things for all of us. And if they don't do it, I feel like we've missed out as a society.
That's right. Right. Well, I agree with you 100%. So, in your experience in dealing with business coaching, dealing with entrepreneurs, what are some of the common challenges that they're facing that really limits their ability to move forward to be successful?
Well, I see number one is an issue of time management. They will profess that, and also I will see them, let's say, not achieving their goals or not really having a clear focus. Thus, the right brain business plan, because of the fact that I did see this kind of random approach to business, I definitely saw a need in creating some kind of structure, some kind of plan that would allow them to really take methodical steps forward every day. So definitely managing time is a challenge for all of us, like personal life and professional life. But definitely when you don't have a boss anymore and you're running the show, it can get really kind of undisciplined or unstructured. And so I think time management is definitely a key to success as an entrepreneur.
It sounds like when they don't manage that part of it or focus it, everything turns into a crisis.
Yes, it's putting out fires.
So, how would you, for example, how would you address that with someone you're working with who says, the time gets away from me, I can't get stuff done, I just having problems, keeping up with everything. What would you suggest as a starting point? I'm sure every person is different, but what are some common tips that you may be able to provide that would help them?
Well, actually, one thing that may seem kind of common sense, but isn't always for the creative type, is to start creating a calendar on paper, not just in their head. And so you've got kind of your scheduled appointments, and then maybe you have a segment of each day or Monday, Wednesday, Friday segmented for marketing, or maybe you do administrative things for another segment of time. So for me, time management is best if you can kind of block out times during the week that you do specific things. Even perhaps like you book clients in the afternoons because you're best in the afternoons, and the mornings are maybe your marketing / administrative type of time usage. So I think definite blocks of time help to just create order. And I don't book appointments in the mornings, let's say, and so whenever you see a client, you book in the afternoon. So there's an inbred structure that you create.
You know, you just touched on something right before this that really resonated, is that about trying to keep your schedule in your head. That clogs up the creative process, doesn't it? And because creative people, your brain is really designed to create, to put things together, to grow, whatever. It's not a very good place to store information as trying to remember a schedule. That's why having a schedule, something written down and have it controlled, allows you to really manage your energy more efficiently.
For sure. I'm way into journaling, which is that process of brain dumping. The calendar is the very same thing, is that when you are kind of stock full of just logistics, there is no magical moment of dropping in and hearing some kind of creative idea that's for you that will maybe set you apart in the marketing end of things, or give you a new strategy for closing sales, or when you are clear in your head, it's like you can hear the good ideas that want to reach you.
They surface.
Yeah.
They're not getting suppressed by all the stuff you have to remember. Well, that's cool. Okay, so what else does an entrepreneur go through that besides time management? What other areas are affected?
I would say fear is a huge one. Fear is a huge block. One, in just stepping into business, but like all facets of business kind of require that stepping through the fear and not avoiding it. So things like sales is an issue for probably everyone who's never sold before, mostly because they have a different definition of sales and they think of sales as sleazy. So I do some work in kind of reformatting that definition, because if people don't know about you, if you simply don't communicate to them that you exist, then they can't come and get your services and heal their bodies or their spirits. So definitely, I would say that fear is like that block. What else do people fear? They fear, failure, financial failure. That's probably number one. And so they can get on this hamster wheel of staying active, but believing they're actually making progress when they're just being busy. And again, that's kind of where the business plan comes in, because that is kind of like the track or the journey that one wants to travel to get to the destination.
Yeah, don't mistake activity for accomplishment sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah. What about just the fear of failure? I mean, you go into business, you start a business, you do whatever, and there's always like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Now what am I going to do?
Oh, I just wrote a piece on Plan A and Plan B. Because some people, as they enter into this risk of Plan A, of starting their own business, they think, oh gosh, if it doesn't work, I'm going to do Plan B. And I'm like, no, do not plan for Plan B, because it's like you put only a baby toe in the water and you're not fully committed. And I'm way into kind of like, as I step into it, there's a universal energy that's there to support me. And when it's not clear what it is I'm trying to accomplish, then kind of I don't get the help that I need even that way. So even like the ideas that I'm saying that are coming to you or to the entrepreneur as the mind is clear, it's just you get blocked.
Well, the great acronym, false expectations appearing real. Isn't it true that most of the stuff that we fear never comes true, and the stuff that may actually come true is not quite as bad as we thought it is?
Yes, absolutely.
So
I think, well, I will tell you, can I give you just a little kind of formula? It's a self-coaching 101 formula, and I think it's really good for entrepreneurs or really anyone who's considering entrepreneurhood, is this idea that a thought is that first crux of a bunch of things. So the thought comes first, which is, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail. Let's say that's the fear. then there's a feeling that's generated of like fear, right? And then the action that comes from that place of fear is individual for everyone, but it is not. Fear doesn't energize us. It causes us to shrink back. And that's the opposite of what an entrepreneur really wants to do in order to create results. So I always start with entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to create something, manifest something, with that thought. Because if the thought is not positive, or let's say the thought is, I call it crappy. If the thought is crappy, the results are crappy. And if the thought is positive, the result is going to be positive. It cannot be any other way. So I always start with, well, what are you thinking and how are you thinking? And if you're thinking it's going to fail, guess what? You're actually going to execute failure in the business.
So energy flows where your attention goes. If you're focusing on failure, you're going to figure out or attract more failure. But how do you keep, it's a natural reaction to fear something like that. So I guess what you're saying is you have to be really intentional about, like you said, your business plan and have all these things in place that are really going to help you move forward with the proper actions and not just reactions. Is that what you're trying to kind of get across as far as in dealing with fear? Because everyone does. We deal with fear all the time.
Yeah, it's not really about making fear go away. It's learning how to manage the fear. Fear is always going to be there when you're taking a step in a new direction and taking a leap of faith, if you will. And so learning how to kind of feel the fear and do it anyway is key. There's some things that, I have a list I can get to you. It's 50 ways to connect to your spirit, because in that place, in the right brain is my thing, is in the right brain there's peace. And then the left brain, there's all those critical, fearful thoughts and voices that try to stop us from doing that thing we're called to do. So when fear strikes up, I say go to your right brain. And that might be go for a walk. It might be put on some favorite music. It might be call a friend or look at some letters or notes that you got from satisfied clients. So, and actually brings up the right brain business plan is it begins with a collage, like a vision board, or I call it a vision book in my case, because we create little books. But it's breathing truth back in when the fear starts to kind of cause us to go off the road, because off the road is non-productive.
Right. It's getting you back on track, mostly on the track that you've set out on. But what happens is we get distracted by shiny things. We get distracted by, bumps in the road. We get distracted by, things didn't go perfectly, and then we get paralyzed because of the fact that we start overanalyzing and oh my gosh and everything. So you have to have some way of a process that takes you back and gets you back on track.
That's why I honestly love journaling as a way to do that. I do that every morning, and I just basically have a conversation with my true self. And it's almost like I plug in to my source and I fill back up with the right thinking and the right mindset. And then when I enter the world and the day, I have a much, much different energy than if I were to just kind of, definitely not spend that quiet time with my true self.
Right. Okay. So, got fear. We got time management. I imagine, and I think this is true of a lot of people in business, is there's this thing called numbers or bookkeeping or record keeping or accounting and stuff like that. Is that part of the problem too?
Yeah. A lot of people think they were terrible in math, and so they should stay away from entrepreneuring because there's that element of math. But it's really, honestly, simply a matter of adding and subtracting, and we all do well with that. And if not, we have a calculator. So it's really just understanding how to record. I think that fear of the IRS coming after me or me doing something wrong is really just me also kind of knowing how to do my job. I mean, let's say, learned how to be a massage therapist. So it's simply learning how to, let's say, deduct as much as I can with the expenses that I have in my business. So it really is just a knowing.
And you have to, you can't ignore it. It's a legal requirement when you're in business.
Yeah, the thing is, the revenue is kind of a no-brainer because the IRS wants to know how much money you took in. But the key is the expense side, because for the dollars that you spend towards your business expenses, they're all write-offable. I mean, you don't have to pay tax on them, so that's the incentive for really keeping track of the expense side.
Also, it's also good to keep a temperature of your business instead of saying, "Well, I think I'm doing okay. I think I have money. A bunch of money came in, but you could really fool yourself because of not being responsible." I guess one thing is as a business owner or an entrepreneur, you have to wear different hats, and you got to be able to shift between the three. And I guess. Some people just really don't like the numbers, but if it's required, it's probably a good idea maybe just to hire somebody to do it for you.
I was just gonna say that. I actually don't do my own bookkeeping, even though I have an accounting degree, because I kind of like the idea of a specialist doing the tallying and doing the data entry. It's not my most fun, but I'll get the reports back at the end of the month and then have an idea of how much profit I made, each month. But it's really as easy as, for me, if I've hired a bookkeeper, all I need to do is keep a monthly folder of everything that's come in and everything that's gone out in a financial way. So I always suggest for clients in business, open your own a business checking account, open your own credit card account. A lot of times they are the same. Like I use Wells Fargo for my checking, and they also offered me a credit card. So now I'm building business credit, which is always a good thing in case you want a loan later on. But those kinds of documents, even sometimes people will pay with PayPal. And we just had a loss of electricity.
Poltergeist.
What was I saying? Okay, so anything that goes in and out goes in that folder, and I do code mine, but my bookkeeper said I don't have to. So you could literally have that trip every month where you hand them the envelope, and then within a certain amount of time, they email you your reports.
There you go. Take care. Hey, I should have done this in the beginning, but a little bit about your background. You have a background that kind of addresses both of these. I think you have a degree in fine arts, or
yeah, fine arts.
Okay, and then you also have a degree in accounting, right? So that is about as right and left brain as you can get.
No kidding. I have the gamut, and I manage and help people all over the place. So yes, I would say that left brain is that structure. Well, okay, let's start with the right brain. I think everything should start with the right brain because that's the inventive, imaginating, that's the visionary part of us. That's kind of like, I think when we connect into our true self, we get the idea, oh my gosh, I want to be an entrepreneur. And then the left brain is the structure of, well, gosh, how do I do that? So it's kind of more step by step. It's more logistics. It's more me creating it, actualizing it in the real world, not just dreaming about it. Right brain will dream, left brain will do.
How did you get into coaching? How did you get into consulting, what you're doing right now?
Well, okay, I started doing art, and it was very solitary, and though it was rewarding, I felt like I wanted to interact with people, and my whole life has been about finding my purpose in the world. And I think that my fear was that creatives were not walking the full gamut of their life because of the fear of entrepreneurship, frankly. And so I thought I could step into that space and empower creatives to do their true work in the world.
That's
what
you've been doing, and I know you do it quite well because you facilitate classes, you have private clients, and also you see it when you're talking about this. Your energy comes out, and you're very excited about helping people be successful. And
Love
I
it.
can relate to that because of the fact that I help people achieve success in different ways also. So that's really cool. So we talked about, basically three things. I'm sure there's more, but time management, fear, and the numbers, taking care of those things. I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but those are three great ideas. If people wanted to find out more about you, I know you have a newsletter and everything. Where would they go? How would they go about doing that?
Well, two things I thought about is yes, True Entrepreneur is my newsletter, and it goes out not too much, but like enough to pass on tips and tools for the holistic practitioner, business person, and they would. I mean, the way to connect in there is www.lorikoop.com. So
Yep.
just directly from my website, and then number two, I was thinking, well, I mean, I give a complimentary session, and if you go to my website, you can see that. But I actually thought, oh, well, be more clear in that complimentary session. The kinds of things I would work on with a client in like one session is perhaps like that target goal, really getting into specific number of how many appointments do I need per week or per day at this price in order to reach my goals. Or that whole self-coaching 101, how do I deal with fear? I mean, there's actual tools. I've kind of generally talked about it, but there's tools that you can go in and dissolve the thoughts, and then they don't plague you. Then you can move forward and create momentum. And then what else did I think? Oh, the numbers part. We could go step by step and create the file system that's needed to just feel comfortable in the bookkeeping / record keeping sides of things. So like one complimentary session could do one of those things.
And those sessions can be done on Skype. They can be done over the phone, or if that would probably work out the best for most people because this is going out all over the country and Canada. So
Yeah.
oh, very cool. Well, that's a very, very generous offer, and so they can access that or sign up for that on your website.
Yeah.
Very good. And that's www.lori, Lori, Koop, KOOP.com.
Yes.
That's got it.
Thanks,
All right,
Dennis.
Lori. Hey, well, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to share this information with us. Any parting words for all the people that may be watching here, those entrepreneurs that maybe hopefully feel better about themselves and their ability to move forward right now?
I would say, two things. One is just congratulations because you're doing your life's work and you're daring to live fully. And number two, I'd say, and not because I'm a business coach, but don't be afraid to reach out for help. I think that a lot of our thinking is DIY, do it yourself, and I think that in joining energies with one other person, or even I offer these things called masterminds, where a group of entrepreneurs in all different businesses get together. There's just an energy that keeps you going during the rough times, and creates this camaraderie and love and support that that is really kind of critical in the ups and downs of an entrepreneurial journey.
That's true. I agree. We need to do another session of talking more about masterminds, because that may be a foreign concept to most people, but I know the value of it because it works great, and we'll make that a future interview. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, Lori, thank you so much for your time today, and we wish you the best. Talk to you soon down the road. And for everybody, take advantage of her exceptional offer and get in contact with her, get her newsletter, and use this information to further your mission of helping people. So this is Dr. Buckley for the Doctor Driven Referral System and the Massage Management Mastery Program, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.